Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going to connect the dots between 5 really big tech trends. The thing is, they're not just happening side by side. Nope, they're actually weaving together to create this one single powerful ecosystem. And it's already changing your world in ways you probably don't even notice. Okay, let's start with something you almost definitely did today. You pulled out your phone, opened up a map app, and think about what it did. It didn't just show you a map, it predicted traffic, knew about construction, and somehow found you the absolute fastest way to get where you're going, right now. How does it do that? Or what about this one? You upload a group photo and bam. Instantly, your social media app is already suggesting who to tag. I mean, it knows your friends' faces. That's not just some clever little trick. It's actually the first and maybe the most obvious piece of this giant puzzle that we're going to put together today. So, the answer to both of those questions? Well, that's the first layer of our whole story today. It's artificial intelligence. You can pretty much think of it as the brain behind all of this modern tech. And look, forget the sci-fi robots for a second. The real goal of AI is, well, it's to basically digitize core human abilities. Things like learning from experience, spotting patterns, making really complex decisions, but doing it at a scale and a speed that honestly no human ever could. You see, AI isn't just one single thing. It's more like a whole toolkit. Machine learning, that's what powers your music recommendations. Natural language processing, or NLP, that's what lets you talk to your smart assistant. And then you've got immersive experiences, which are using AI to totally blur the line between our digital and physical worlds. And these immersive experiences, they really come in 2 main flavors. You've got virtual reality, or VR, which builds a completely new digital world that you dive into. But then there's augmented reality, AR, which is different. It keeps you right here in the real world, but adds digital layers right on top of it. Yeah, you can think of it like a heads-up display for your life. Okay, so we have this artificial brain. But what powers it? Just like our brains, it needs experiences to learn anything, right? For AI, those experiences are data. And I'm not talking about a little bit of data. We are talking about massive, almost unimaginable amounts of it. Get this, 2.5 quintillion bytes. That's the staggering amount of data we, as a planet, create every single day. To put that in perspective, if each byte was a gallon of water, that's enough to fill the entire Amazon River twice. That is the fuel for our AI brain. And this, my friends, is what we call big data. But it's not just about the size, that's key. It's also messy. It's totally unstructured. We're talking photos, videos, random comments, and it's just flooding in from countless sources all at once. You can see why the old tools just can't handle it. So to really get a handle on big data, you kind of have to think in 5 dimensions. First, there's the sheer volume, of course, then the velocity, how fast it's all coming in, then the variety of sources. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's also veracity, like can you even trust the data? And finally, the most important one, value. Because what's the point of all this data if we can't pull out any meaningful insights from it? It's useless, right? All right, so let's recap. We've got the brain, that's AI, and we've got the fuel, that's big data. So the next logical question is, where is all this data actually coming from? Well, more and more, it's not just from us typing on our keyboards. It's coming from the physical world all around us. And that brings us to our third piece, the Internet of Things, or IoT for short. This is basically the digital nervous system for our world. What it does is connect everyday objects, you know, your smartwatch, your car, even the streetlights in your city, and it gives them a voice on the internet, so they can constantly report what's happening. At the very heart of the IoT is the smart sensor. You got to think of these as tiny digital senses, and they are embedded everywhere, just feeling the world around us. They're what detect the orientation of your phone, or the temperature inside a shipping container, or even something as critical as a stress fracture starting to form in a bridge. Now, the ultimate goal, the big picture application for IoT, it's the smart city. This is where all that data from millions of different sensors comes together to help manage resources and services with just incredible efficiency. We're talking about optimizing traffic flow, conserving energy, and really making our cities safer and more sustainable for everyone. Okay, this brings up a huge question, right? We have all this intelligence, all this data, all this connectivity. Where does it all actually live? Where does all the heavy lifting, all that immense processing actually happen? Well, the answer is the cloud. And now it's not some fluffy, mystical thing up in the sky. It's a very real, very physical global network of incredibly powerful servers. The best way to think of it is like the power grid, or maybe the engine room that runs our entire digital world. It's what provides all that raw computing power whenever and wherever it's needed. And these cloud services, they generally come in three main layers. It's a useful way to think about it. You can rent just the raw land, that's the basic hardware, the infrastructure, which we call IaaS, or you could rent a fully equipped workshop to build your own apps, that's PaaS. Or, and this is what most of us do, you can just use a finished product that someone else built, like Google Docs, that's SaaS, and it's the layer we interact with every single day. So let's take a step back. We've kind of built our system now, right? We've got the AI brains, the big data fuel, and the IoT nervous system, and it's all running on the cloud. So now let's look at one more emerging trend that's all about how we secure this whole thing, and crucially, how we build trust in it. See, traditionally, trust online relies on some central authority, right? A bank, a big company, whatever. But that's also a single point of failure. If that gets hacked, you're in trouble. Blockchain completely flips that script. It's a decentralized system where everyone on the network holds a copy of the ledger, the record book. So trying to hack one computer, it's totally useless because thousands of others are there to prove you wrong. The whole process is kind of like a digital democracy. Someone requests a transaction and that request gets broadcast to the entire network. Then everybody, all the computers, votes to verify it. And only when there's a collective agreement does it get added as a new, permanent, and totally unchangeable block to the chain. Pretty cool, huh? And please, understand this is about so much more than just digital currency. That's just the first application. Really, it's a foundational technology for building trust and transparency into almost any system you can think of. We're talking about tracking a product through a supply chain, securing sensitive healthcare records, or, even verifying votes in an election. So that's really the core idea here. You've got the AI brain, the big data fuel, the IoT senses, the cloud engine, and it's all being held together by this new layer of trust that comes from blockchain. You see? These aren't 5 separate trends happening in a vacuum. They are one single, interconnected machine that is actively building our future, right now. These forces, working together, are fundamentally rewriting the rules of our society. And understanding this ecosystem, well, it isn't just for tech experts anymore. It's absolutely essential for anyone who wants to actually have a say in the kind of world that it's creating.